for a product to continue being useful, you need to anticipate user feedback. The moment you get this feedback, it gives you an edge on what to improve more.
All right, so let's move on to the part 3 that says how software products are actually built. What are the step-by-step process? We've spoken about a couple of them in the part 1 session, but now in this part 3, we're seeing a couple more things that you can learn before you actually start building your own products. All right, so the first question I have for you is, once the planning and design is basically done, what happens next?
Okay, when the planning and design is done, we move to the development proper. It is in this stage that we begin to implement or transcribe what has been designed to become visible codes or visible web pages, as the case may be, or visible mobile apps, as the case may be. And then basically the front end and the back end falls under the development phase. So we try to see how we can align what has been done so far to start working. What has been the plan? We try to see if the plan now works. In fact, it is in this phase that we begin to see if what like the idea we have initially, because you need to understand that for you to think about any software, it comes first as an idea. You have this thing, I have an idea, I want to build on these things, I want it to solve these user problems, user XYZ are my audience, and they're going to help them achieve this, achieve that, achieve this. So now after you are done, you need to understand at that phase you are just trying to write it, you are trying to, it's still on the paper or just paperwork. Yes. So it is when we now move to development proper that we try to implement some of these things. We begin to see if it is actually solving users' problems. Yeah. So the development phase is probably like the core of the development phase. In fact, the front end and back end is development is at like the core of the software product development. Yeah. So it's very much important in the pipeline of development.
Okay, thank you. So we've spoken about the front end guys, spoken about the back end guys. Now, these guys, they work, together or they work separately?
So it depends on the technology you are using. Now, when it comes to building software, there are a lot of technologies. We have PHP, we have C#, we have Node.js, we have Python, we have Laravel, a lot. So it depends on the technology I use in tech. We call it depending on the stack you are using. Okay. So depending on the stack you are using, that determines if the front end or back end is going to work together. There are some that the front end can do their part. The front end can be working on their own. The back end will be working on their own. Yes. After both of them are done, they'll integrate both of them together. Yes. There are some that the front end will have to finish and pass it over to the back end for the back end to continue. So it just depends on whichever stack you are using. That is like what determines if the front end and back end are going to work hand in hand or if they are going to work independently. But at the whole scene of every of the things we are saying is that we basically still work together to ensure that our problem is solving user needs. So irrespective of whether we are working together or we are not working together, both the front end and the back end, is irrespective. Our major focus is still to ensure that our product is user-centered.
Yes. So users first.
Yeah,
Users first. Okay. So one important question I want to ask, for our viewers as well, is software development, is it a smooth process or are there ups and downs? Yeah, we're talking about debugging and the rest of that, but does it have its ups and downs?
So now for everything that involves development, you need to understand that there's always ups and there is downs. So obviously you obviously would expect that you experience challenges along the way. It's not a smooth process. It's not a smooth process. So you just try as much as possible to make it smooth. So there might be conflict of interest along the way. There might be misunderstanding between colleagues, right? There might be technological problems. So probably you're trying to integrate something, you're trying to make use of a third-party application, and then that is not working, or they're not giving you privilege or leverage to be able to use that. So all of these things are what comes into play. So these are the ups and downs, right? Okay. So human communication is very important as it concerns development. So because these are one of the stumbling blocks as it concerns development.
Yeah.
So it's when you solve that problem. In fact, you should even look at when you don't envision. In fact, you should even envision problems. We call that risk mitigation. So you think of what if this happens? What if people have conflict? What if these people say they are not working again? What should happen? So all of these things are risk mitigation or are risks that you basically you try to bring to now. They might not really exist, right? They might not really exist, but you just see how to bring them in.
Yes.
You factor them in just in case this happens. What should I do? So this is what we describe as risk mitigation in development of any software.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. All that has been said. All right. So now we've spoken about multiple teams working together to achieve one thing.
Yes.
Now, what are some common problems that you face? I know you've worked with a team before now.
Yeah,
so
I worked with
how
teams.
has the experience been working with a team? What problems have you come up?
So I think I initially mentioned some of it, right? So the first one you most likely see might be conflict of interest.
Yeah.
It might be within teams. It might be within cross-function teams.
Yeah.
It might be within stakeholders. It might be within sponsors of projects. So these are like the common issues that you will see, especially when it comes to science development. So some of other things, because when it now boils down to maybe technological problems or stack problems, if one is not working, there's always a solution to like an alternative to that. But when you're able to resolve conflict of interest and miscommunication and management of people, so that I feel that is basically where the bulk of the issues actually lies, because now you cannot tell people how they should behave.
Yes.
You can only advocate for good behavior, right? But you cannot tell people how to behave. But in a situation where you're able to have a controlled behavior of individuals working in that product, then you've solved a whole lot of the problems that you are most likely going to experience as it concerns developing of that product.
Okay. Thank you. It's a lot of problems that usually comes in between the line. A whole lot of problems.
Yeah,
and the main thing is to find a way to solve this problem before it actually grows.
Yeah, before it actually expands to something bigger than what it's supposed to be.
Okay. Now, you've spoken about debugging. Now, is it a normal thing in development?
Now, let me first of all explain what debugging is. So for some people that don't know when you say I want to debug, it's possible that you might have heard it from your tech friends or your software developers friends. So when someone says they want to debug, what it simply means is that they want to see they found an issue, they want to resolve the issue, or something is not working. They want to find out why that thing is not working. So that's what we describe as debugging. So and this helps us basically in every development. So it's possible that and now you need to even actually still understand that if we say so now actually establish that debugging is tracing errors, right? So you need to still understand that if we said we are following part A in our development and then somebody follows part B, you need to understand that this is an error. We have to debug why we follow through part B, right? So this is common errors or common errors we see as concerning development, and we have to debug to see what is causing that particular error to resolve it so that we have a smooth flow of our product development.
Wow. So debugging is a normal thing actually.
Yeah, debugging.
As a matter of fact, if you don't debug, it's a problem.
Now,
you should actually look for the bug to this point, right?
The thing is that you should always anticipate errors.
Yes.
Right? You should always anticipate errors because we are human, and then obviously you will most likely experience errors. But one thing you try to do is try to minimize the errors that are in the system.
Yes.
Right? Try to minimize the errors that are in the system. So that's why we actually test when you build, especially in the development phase, you don't just build and deploy. You build, test, deploy, build, test, deploy. Right? So that is just the workflow. When you implement, you test it, you push it to the central server where you put your code. Right? So these are the processes it takes. So it's not just when you implement a feature, you push it along. It's a bad practice in development. So before it gets to the production, or now we call that production environment, right? We call that or development environment. Rather, we have development environment, right? In development environment where we test all our stuff, right? So before it gets to production, so you want to be sure that it is error free.
Okay.
So in your test environment, in your development environment, you have to be sure that you actually test all of these things to be sure that it's working fine before you push to production.
Okay. All right. So have you ever worked in the future before where it sounded so good at the first point,
All right.
but later on you had to change the process that you took to achieve?
Okay. Now I think what probably what you're trying to explain is now it's possible you experience it. You deploy something now, it's working fine, and after a while
you have to
it stop working. I don't know if it's something I explain. If
yes,
now,
something like
okay,
that.
no. So now the thing you need to understand that some of the times we use third-party application. It's possible that third-party application did an update on their software, and what you are currently running is not compatible with that other software update they did. So you see that some of the times you experience issues there. So these are the common issues. So it's very common. It's possible that something can be working now, and then in few hours time, in few days time, in few months time, it stopped working automatically. So these are some of the issues. And then some of the codes too can work in your production environment peacefully, but there can be an update in that production environment that makes your code to stop working. So these things happens frequently, and it's something that is not new, right? So it's not new. So it's something that obviously you should try to see. So it's not as if you now say, my code is not running, my code is not. So you should now debug to see what's actually causing that issue, or what's causing that error, or what's causing that bug, rather.
Okay. All right. So a lot of things have been mentioned so far, but there's one thing that is very common, and that particular thing is what we call feedback. Now, how important is feedback when it comes to development?
Now, you need to understand that for your product to continue being useful, you need to anticipate user feedback. So, if for instance you give me a product, it's possible that you give me, I think I use the illustration. You give me a gift. You give me a gift, right? You give me a gift, and you probably in few months' time come to ask me how are you using this thing I give you, how are you using it, hope you like it, hope you are enjoying it, and I give you my honest feedback, right? So it's the same thing too with development. When you are done developing, you deploy it to your live server, and then when users test it, they give you their feedback. It's working well, I'm liking it, I'm enjoying it, I don't like this thing, I don't like it. So these are the honest feedback, and all of these feedback are important if you want that product to continue being useful, because the moment you get this feedback, it gives you an edge, it gives you it makes you have an informed decision on what to improve more, or what to capitalize more and get done faster and better. So it gives you this opportunity. So user feedback is always important in shaping any product you are working in. In fact, to have a better product, you need users honest feedback.
Okay. All right. So a lot of things have been mentioned in this particular field, because I want us to see how the process is like when you're working behind the scenes. So we have seen that the development stage is, a lot of planning goes into the development stage. We've seen that both the front end and back end people, they work hand in hand together. It's best they work together, but it depends on the stack they are using. They also seen about the testing process. We also talked about how user feedback is very much important.
In fact, users are key.
So in fact,
I think in the business where they say customers are
always right.
Aside even customers are always I've forgotten the phrase. Is that customers are key, or customers are power? I've forgotten the phrase, but then in this instance, our users are customers, our potential customers. So they are very important. Their feedback are very important to the continuous improvement of or shaping of any product at all.
All right. So we've seen how important feedback is. So no matter the field you are in, forget about development. Development, yes, you need feedback. But even in other fields, be it UI design, digital marketing, any other field, basically, you need feedback to grow. That product you are building, you actually need to get feedback for you to keep moving forward. So never take feedback as a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Feedback is important if you want to get better.
All right.